each day, seems like Hillary Clinton's candidacy is just getting weaker. So there's a new report, a scathing report from the Office of Inspector General that details how Hillary Clinton's actions with this private email server was a clear violation of the rules in place at the time when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. This report also details how Hillary Clinton did not seek prior approval or permission for using this private email server. And if she had sought this prior approval, she would have been declined. Also, further in this report, it details how Hillary Clinton violated the Federal Records Act by not turning over all of her emails before she left office. So along the way, these are a few of Hillary Clinton's statements about this subject.
My personal email use was fully above board. It was allowed by the State Department, as they have confirmed.
What I did was allowed by the State Department, but it wasn't the best choice. And I have been as transparent as I know to be.
And you said it was allowed, too.
Yes, it was.
But who allowed it?
It was allowed under the rules of the State Department. And again...
So nobody signed off on it?
No, it was allowed. One of my predecessors did the same thing. Others in our government have done the same thing at very high levels, because the rules did change after I left the State Department. But at the time and in prior years, the rules allowed it.
Well, as I have said many times, that was absolutely permitted, and I did it, and it turned out to be a mistake. It wasn't the best choice.
Now, in regards to, her predecessors doing it, she's referring to Colin Powell.
Of course she is.
But she knows good and well Colin Powell didn't do what she did.
No, there is a distinction to be made. She set up a private email server outside of the Department of State.
Yes.
And she set it up in her home in New York.
Also, without the knowledge of the IT department.
Yes.
Colin Powell, on the other hand, got a line added by the IT department because he wanted to communicate outside the State Department, because the systems that they were using in the rules regarding that system only stipulate, internal communication. So he wanted a line outside, but he got a line approved by and IT set it up.
Yes.
So it was known.
So it was still
but it was still in the building.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't in his house.
Right. And
230 miles away.
Mark Toner, who is the State Department's deputy spokesman, even stated that there were multiple hacking attempts on Hillary Clinton's private email server. Now, they weren't successful, but there were hacking attempts. And one of Hillary Clinton's aides, I believe in an email, stated that there was a hacking attempt going on at that time and that they unplugged the private email server to stop the hacking from going on any further.
See, that raises more concerns because remember, a private company was employed to maintain this server that didn't have government security clearance.
Yes.
They were in charge of backup too. So you mean to tell me that that doesn't create a security risk? Not just her server, but the company that's in charge of backing this server up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty risky. If you are doing business or your job and you work for the State Department, but yet you want to do it outside of the purview from the State Department, you're up to something. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's just looking at it from the surface.
If she said it was for convenience, right? But in her emails, even there's evidence that she stated that she didn't want her private stuff to get out there, right? So if you didn't want your private stuff to get out, you wanted some sense of privacy. Why would you lump that with your business affairs? That makes no sense. Why not have them separate? I'm just not wrapping my head around this. The New York Times, the New York Times, they did an article about this. Everybody's doing an article about this. New York Times, it says, the rules governing emails under previous secretaries were, the report said, very fluid. By the time Mrs. Clinton came into office, however, they were considerably more detailed and sophisticated, spelling out the obligation to use department systems in most circumstances and identifying the risk of not doing so. So that tells you right there.
That tells me that she understood the rules.
Yes.
And you know what else tells me that she knew the rules? The fact that 2 records keepers brought it to the attention of their supervisors,
right,
that she could have a secure, separate, private email account somewhere. It was kind of like swirling around there. She did,
and they raised questions.
They raised questions. That. 2 records keepers. You mean to tell me 2 records keepers know the rules?
Yeah.
But
and
she doesn't.
They're like, oh, this is kind of risky.
This
right
is kind of
here.
risky. Like records keepers know the rules, but Hillary Clinton doesn't.
What happened after that? What happened after that?
Well, they were told to shut up, pretty much,
and keep it secret.
And keep it secret. Mm-hmm.
Why?
Why exactly?
That makes no sense.
Exactly. If there's nothing going on, why keep it secret?
If there's nothing nefarious going on, right? She's not trying to hide anything. Why is this on the hush hush? That makes no sense.
And you know what else kind of jumps at me? What did she say? She said, it turns out it wasn't the best choice.
Turned out to be a mistake.
It turned out to be a mistake. So are you saying, like, you were wrong in doing this?
She said, well, I don't, like, she's changed her tune so many times. It turned out to be a mistake, but what I did was allowable. But both things are not really true. 1, it wasn't allowable, and 2, it wasn't a mistake. You just decided to do this.
Yes, exactly.
It could be a bad decision.
Yeah, exactly. Putting on your shirt inside out.
Yeah,
that's a mistake.
Right.
Slipping on the banana peel.
That's a mistake.
That's a mistake.
Right.
But going to Best Buy, getting a laptop or a computer, and then setting it up with network access. That takes intent. That's not a mistake. You don't do that.
No, you didn't mistakenly
and I'm like,
do anything.
What? She's 68 now.
Yeah,
she's 68.
This isn't a child we're talking about.
Yeah. It's like
a young mind.
Wait. That was like what, 8 years ago. Yeah. So she was a budding 60-year-old then. So she was still, wet behind the ears.
This is ridiculous. My 4-year-old child. There are things that I don't have to tell her, right? I mean, there are rules that I have never stated were rules, like things that she can't do, but I guarantee you she won't do them.
Exactly.
I don't have to write them down. I don't have to specifically tell her this is not allowable. She just knows it. You're telling me this brilliant, capable Secretary of State,
stateswoman,
I mean,
pantsuit extraordinaire.
You're telling me she did not know that this was going to be a problem and that she shouldn't have done this? So Hillary Clinton, the head of the State Department, she felt like, she doesn't answer to anybody. So
she's top dog.
Yeah, she's top dog. She can go ahead and do this risky behavior, set up this private email server, and, because she's only accountable to herself, really, because she's the head of the agency, right? It doesn't matter that it was not allowable. It wasn't specifically disallowed. So why not go ahead and do it, right? But what if one of her subordinates have done it? What if somebody that was not the Secretary of State did this same exact thing? What would have happened to them?
They would have probably got reprimanded or, fired.
Absolutely.
Which I think
actually did happen. Yeah. Right. So her supporters and her surrogates that are saying like, hey, nothing to see here, nothing's going on, this is just a right-wing conspiracy, this is just a right-wing attack that they keep lobbing. They've been lobbing for what, 25 years? Really? Okay. This is a right-wing conspiracy, right? Okay, so Peter King, who's a representative out of New York, he said, we're not talking about anybody from the right wing or any conservative or any Republican. This is an independent report coming out by an individual appointed by the President of the United States.
I'm growing tired of her pivoting to that every single time. You know what I'm saying? It's like she is constantly distancing herself from personal responsibility.
Yes.
Like,
She has none.
why can't you just answer the question straight up and explain yourself? Why does she have to pivot to that? It's almost like the same thing she does in her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing her campaign does when trying to explain her bad poll numbers. What do? They blame it on Bernie Sanders. Why is she polling so bad against Trump? Bernie's damaging her because of these right-wing attacks.
Right.
So she's done it in regard to her campaign, and now she's doing it in regards to these reports about her email server.
Mm-hmm. And
she's like saying, "Oh, they're nothing but right-wing attacks." I was like, so she constantly pivots to this thing because the Republicans are kind of like the easy scapegoat here.
Right.
And
they're easy to put that on. Oh, it's dumb attacking me. But see, her and her supporters are the ones that are making this a partisan issue. This is not a partisan issue because I guarantee you, if it was this representative, Peter King, that's a Republican, if it was Paul Ryan, if it was any other Republican, do you think the Democrats would be hush mouth? Do you think they would have nothing to say about it? Or would they be attacking them? If this person was a Republican running for the president of the United States of America, do you think they would be silent and say nothing? They are making this a partisan issue when it is not a partisan. Because this is about security.
That's the easiest thing to do, though. That's the easiest pivot to make, is to make it a partisan issue, because you can just be like, that's all it is.
Wash your hands
it's like
of responsibility.
D versus R. That's all it is.
We have, and what's really upsetting about this is that we have our elected officials are supporting this person for president of the United States of America. This person is running to be the president of the United States of America right now. This is going on right now. And this person is running for the highest office in the land. And our elected officials are actually endorsing this person in wild droves.
An FBI investigation where a lead witness has been given immunity.
And they're still backing this person. Are you crazy? This person should not be running for president. I don't care who it is. This person should not be running for president right now while this is going on.
And let me ask you a question, Will. What does Hillary Clinton hang her hat on? What does she say is her strongest point?
I'm gonna guess.
What does she say qualifies her to be president? What does she use?
Final answer. Experience
and her experience in the State Department.
Yes.
And her knowledge of foreign policy and all that. I think you can consider this scandal as, what Hillary Clinton tends to define it as. You can consider this, something that would disqualify her.
Right. Now, see, because, and Bernie Sanders has made this point, experience only gets you so far. Judgment is really what's really important. Now, she had 4 years as Secretary of State. Okay. That's a good achievement, actually. I mean, wow. I mean, not everybody gets to do that, right? But what did you do in your time in that position? You did stuff like this. I mean, you sold fracking all across the globe. You were interventionist. I mean, you stopped Haiti from getting a higher minimum wage. Like, arms deals after coincidental
donations to the Clinton Foundation. TPP.
And her experience is what qualifies her. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say something. Bernie Sanders cannot support this woman. He cannot do it under any circumstances. Not now, not then, not never. He cannot.
Because essentially, her baggage will be attached to him.
He has said, his wife has said, that he intends to support the Democratic nominee. Now, I know he's fighting like hell to get that nomination. And I know the establishment is fighting like hell to ensure that he does not. He cannot, under any circumstances, support this woman. It would be such a ridiculous look. It doesn't matter if she was intending. It really doesn't matter what her intentions were when she set up this private email server. It was risky behavior. She knew it was risky behavior, yet she did it anyway. People found out about it, raised questions, and were told to shut up about it. This is an issue. This is a real issue. This isn't a right-wing issue. This is an issue.
And you know what else is a big issue? The FBI is in a precarious position right now.
You're right.
Because, one, if they kind of don't do anything about this, if she's not, reprimanded in any way, they are essentially saying that, future secretaries of state can do the same thing. They're setting a precedent.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If they don't do anything about this right now, then they're saying it's okay.
Also, what they're doing, if she faces no punishment, is they're saying you're Teflon Hillary. Nothing can stick to you at all. You get away scot-free. And okay, so I'll just relate this back to my child. If my child did something, right, that she knows was wrong, I know it was wrong, but I let her get away with it, like there's no repercussions, there's no punishment, there's no nothing, I just let her get away with it. Wouldn't that just embolden her? Would she understand that her actions were that wrong if she didn't face any kind of punishment for it? Would she?
And I think it would the consequences of that would go further, in that it wouldn't just embolden her to do things like this in specific situations,
right,
but it emboldens her in regard to her whole platform.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about a child, but when we're talking about an adult that could be the highest ranking official in the land, you really think that she wouldn't do other things that puts others in jeopardy? She wouldn't make other risky decisions? Really? Like, you'd have to be really gullible not to believe that she wouldn't.
Especially if she's
using that she would.
Especially if she's using her experience in that position as a qualifying factor. You know what I'm saying?
From what I get from this woman is that she doesn't understand. That's what I get from her comments. It's like she doesn't understand the gravity of the situation.
She understands,
but she's not.
She understands. You know she understands. That's why she's lying. In all those clips,
that's unsettling.
In all clips that's true. In all those clips that you showed, could you look at that honestly say she didn't know she was lying?
You're right.
You're
right. You're right. She.
Well, come on. You saw the expressions.
Bernie Sanders, you cannot support this woman.